All right, welcome everyone. Today's May 10th, 2021. It's 4 p.m. We're here for a Orange Township's Board of Trustees special meeting. I'll call this meeting to order. Ms. Kraft, if you could please call roll.
Mr. Grumbles,
Here.
Ms. Taranto,
Here.
Mr. Rivers.
Here.
First on the agenda is executive session. Make a motion to enter into executive session to consider the employment, or compensation of a public employee or official.
Second.
Mr. Grumbles,
Yes.
Ms. Taranto,
Yes.
Mr. Rivers.
I'm not sure what this executive session is in regards to, but it's my opinion, all these employment decisions have not been handled properly, so I'm abstaining.
Are we going to do a breakout room?
Yes,
Mr.
please.
Grumbles, if you could state who you're inviting to attend.
Invited to attend executive session is Trustee Taranto, Trustee Rivers, Fiscal Officer Kraft, and myself, Trustee Grumbles. All right, everyone back from executive session then?
Yes.
Make a motion to approve resolution 21-156 to return to regular session.
Second?
Mr. Grumbles,
Yes.
Ms. Taranto,
Yes.
Mr. Rivers.
Yes.
When we were in executive session, we discussed administrator role, an administrative assistant role, and the HR director role. As we transition to regular session and our special meeting agenda, open with discussion and possible action of hiring the township administrator. Trustee Taranto, if you'd like to, since you've been the acting administrator, if you'd like to take.
Sure. I make a motion authorizing Deborah Taranto to negotiate an offer of employment contingent upon the board's formal appointment and the execution of an employment agreement with Joseph Forquarian to serve as the next township administrator and to utilize the law firm of Isaac Wiles to accomplish the same.
Second.
Mr. Grumbles,
Yes.
Ms. Taranto,
Yes.
Mr. Rivers.
There's a clear precedent as far as our department heads and administrator and how we've hired and gone about this. So we will not be posting for the administrator job at all.
No, because we had a very qualified person to do that role.
So no one else will get the opportunity to interview for the administrator job at Orange Township.
Not if we hire this gentleman, no.
And was there ever a process where anyone had the opportunity to come in and interview?
Mr. Rivers, we discussed this in exec, how the process worked.
I just asking the question.
Mr. Grumbles, if we could move on, please.
I didn't get a vote for Mr. Rivers, please.
I abstain.
Thank you.
All right. Discussion and possible action to approve the position of Human Resources Director. So we've talked about bringing in a human resources professional in the prior meetings and want to make a formal move today to get the position description approved and get the job announcement posted. I know in reviewing the position description that I saw a few things that I would like to suggest we agree to change in session today. One of the things was the bachelor's degree in human resources or a related field. I'd like to suggest, because of the level of the position, that we seek someone with a master's degree as opposed to a bachelor's degree. And there was a lot in there about web design and things of that nature, and want to make sure I understand the catalyst for that. If there's a specific desire for this person to, and I saw Photoshop as well, or creative software for Adobe. I understand that for some of them, but Photoshop and then the web combined with the web development or web design makes it seem like we're looking for something potentially more than HR. So can anyone shed light on that? Val, feel free I know you worked on this based on us approving it. I don't know if in conversations or, if that came to light.
Well, I think we went off of the position description from the last HR position, which was also the communication specialist, so we can look at changing that.
Yeah, I definitely want to have a different position description because we're looking for a different level of leader with this function. So I don't think we need to seek out the Photoshop or If you want to note this while I'm talking, and then the rest of the board can opine on their things and we can approve it and move forward, would be the whole hope for me. I think the Photoshop, striking that and the web design would be ideal, along with a master's degree. And then from a essential job function, one thing we don't have that I've spoken on publicly a few times pertains to performance management and reviews. I know that's something that was just starting to be discussed in the past few months, but would really like to have this HR director role focused on implementing a formal review process for the township on a quarterly and annual basis. So quarterly touch base, annual review type thing. And make sure that that's delineated out specifically, because it's something in the screening process. I'll be looking for someone that's done that before. And with hourly and exempt, I think it's important to note that, because they can be quite different. Other than that, I thought the position description was fine. I just want to make sure we're not recreating a role that we we're looking to move away from anyway.
Okay.
Who's currently handling our HR matters?
Oh, it's happening, pretty much Val, with me having oversight.
It was brought to my attention that Go HR terminated their agreement April 13th. Is that true?
I don't know the exact date, but she did, and she sent over all of her files.
Val, are you good on the proposed changes? Is there any concern over those changes with the other board members or anyone else?
I was fine with those
Any
changes. I agree on the
other
amount.
suggestions?
I will make the changes and share with the board for final approval.
Well, we've got the example here. We made those changes, so I think we're okay to approve the position description with changes annotated in a meeting, if I'm not mistaken. And then Val, I see the 6th bullet point down. It looks like just a space between existing programs. And I think it'll be fine.
Okay.
And make sure that I did see in there, you may want to just add a bullet point about labor relations and bargaining agreements, collective bargaining agreements, experience with that. I see the labor relation trends and stuff like that, but I'd like to make sure we clearly state that we not just assist with contract negotiations, but lead contract negotiations in partnership with the township administrator and legal counsel.
Okay.
Any other changes to be proposed? Make a motion to approve Resolution 21-157 to approve position description of Human Resources Director and post a job announcement.
Mr. Grumbles, this would be 158. 157 was the one read by Mrs. Tranto.
Oh, yep, you're right. Apologize. Thank you for the correction. Draw the previous motion. Make a motion to approve Resolution 21-158 to approve position description of Human Resources Director and post a job announcement as discussed and clarified in the special meeting, May 10th, 2021.
Second?
Mr. Grumbles,
Yes.
Ms. Tranto,
Yes.
Mr. Rivers.
We had an HR audit done that I think shows this position isn't necessary. Like we had a foundation for a new staffing structure that was almost done, and we've erased a year's worth of work. And now I think we've done this all backwards, being we're hiring an administrator last when the administrator should have been hired first, and making these, if we're going to go back to the drawing board and restructure everything. So I think this has all been done backwards.
Your HR Go company that you worked with, they actually had suggested that we hire an in-house because of the size of our staff and the types of things that we're working on. So I know Go HR was part of your plan, and that was her advice.
If you review the audit, it's in the audit, the back, as far as the structure and positioning.
And I also think the township will save money by having a salary instead of the monthly invoices from Go HR.
Well, they took on a very large project, but the idea was that eventually things would be in the right place and the cost would be much, much smaller.
I did not get a vote for you, Mr. Rivers.
I abstain.
Thank you.
All right. Discussion and possible action to approve the position description of administrative assistant, receptionist, and post the job announcement. Mr. Anto, I know you were working with Val on that. Do you like to discuss that as well?
This position will be at the front desk that was just currently renovated. She will answer the phone, the door, accept packages, distribute mail, take messages for staff and the board. She will serve for the office manager and the board of trustees. She will eventually work on Facebook posts, possible website postings, and catch a lot of things that get missed or keep the regular staff from doing the jobs that they're working on. Trying to get to my email.
I want to point out it's even though you're saying she, we I don't believe we have a.
No, we don't. It's just a general term I'm using.
That's okay. I just want to point that out. The thing with this role, I know that Miss Bunting had contacted me about it, and with the way the township office is situated and runs now, staff members required to get up and go to the door frequently and things of that nature, because we have the new secure front end. And so I think this was always part of the plan, in making sure that we have coverage. And I think it makes a lot of sense in allowing Ms. Bunting to thoroughly run the kind of transition between the administrator and the rest of the staff operations and day-to-day business that's happening. So it frees up the administrative tasks and things so that truly management functions and strategic planning and things like that can take place. So I think it's a good role to free up capacity across the board, really, and make sure that our residents and business partners and folks visiting are, given a chance to get prompt service and things of that nature, and have somebody focusing on website updates and Facebook communication, and transition that away from the folks doing it now as a handful of people working on stuff all the time. So it'll be nice to have a centralized point of contact for those workloads. Anything else? Trustee Taranto, Ms. Bunting, do you want to talk about this at all, since this was, you put a lot of work into this, I know.
I think you pretty much covered everything.
Okay. The only thing I saw reviewing this, I want to go through and just, there's nothing there from a roles and responsibility standpoint. Give it a scrub for grammar and stuff like that, like we always do. And then I think for me personally, it looks fine, looks great. So thank you for working on that. Right, make a motion to approve resolution 21-159, approving position description of the administrative assistant receptionist and posting the job announcement.
Second?
Mr. Grumbles,
Yes.
Ms. Taranto,
Yes.
Mr. Rivers.
I abstain.
And I think the last item here is discussion and possible action regarding pool repairs. I know that we've had quite a few days here, and Mr. Bowers was welcomed in good fashion to our township, having to work through these challenges on day one. So if Mr. Bowers, if you want to introduce yourself to the community and share what you have there, it'd be great.
Thank you. Again, Silas Bowers, actually the second day in the shop here. So, and as you mentioned, kind of just a whirlwind of stuff so far, but happy to be on board and excited about what's coming through the pipeline here. As you mentioned, a lot of issues with the pool last week. We have essentially moved forward on all those and feel pretty good about where we are with the repairs, and especially regarding opening day, date of next Friday kind of being the target date. We are still on task to have everything ready to go. A lot of the cleanup work is complete at this point, and we will be starting to refill the pool and apply chemicals probably tomorrow and Wednesday. The estimate for the cleanup probably is going to be on the lower end of what the quote was, so feel pretty good about that as well.
Silas, could you talk about real quick what happened, just so that everyone's aware?
Absolutely. In the 4 sand filters that exist in the mechanical area, the sand in the sand filters needs replaced every so often, sometimes 5, 10, whatever years, just depends on the use and the condition of the filters themselves. 2019, in the fall of 19, the contractor brought in to replace the sand in the sand filter, relatively on schedule. Pool not running last year, it was never tested. None of the issues that we found came to light. So when it was tested this year, all the directions were followed. A couple of the pipes within one of the sand filters had broken and allowed the sand to be pushed back through the lines into the pool. So if I could share some pictures with you, which I'll have around the office here, but essentially we had a bunch of sand in the pool that wasn't supposed to be in the pool. Met with the contractors that we have used and the vendors that we use. They're all pretty puzzled by it. Nobody wants to own up to it, which pretty normal, kind of what we expected here. Best course of action was to pretty much foot the bill for having the water drained, everything circulated again, all the sand cleaned up, and then filled back up and pretty much starting over again. So the pictures that show the amount of sand in the pool is pretty attention grabbing. So we're thankful that everything's ahead of schedule right now, all things considered, and that we're able to keep on track for opening day. I'll also give a nod to our staff as well. Mike Kelly in particular was very helpful with this, as was Aaron, kind of targeting, working with the vendors and kind of keeping everything in motion while they waited on answers. So feel pretty good about where we are right now. And again, one of the main goals is to stay on track for opening day next Friday. And we are there right now. Again, filling up, retreating, the boiler test coming up early next week, and then we'll heat everything and hopefully unlock the gates and let everybody have at it.
So one of the questions was, Silas, do you think we're going to be under $10,000 for this repair?
I do. Our initial quote was like a little over 9,000. I think the quote was high, and the vendor agreed that it was probably on the high end, but they didn't know what they were getting into, since it's a very abnormal repair that they were going through, an abnormal cleanup. Even the manufacturer of the sand filters in the system, they saw the pictures and they've never seen anything like it. They've seen one pipe break before, but we had 4 separate pipes break in the same sand filter. So kind of unorthodox, unprecedented. So the quote that we got again was a little on the high side. I think it'll come in probably between 6 and 7. So it's a little easier.
So at this point, we really don't need to take action to give approval for that payment. It'll come in under 10.
Yes, ma'am. Correct.
Thank you. Do we have any board questions regarding the issue at the pool?
Just to clarify, Ms. Tranto, it doesn't require board approval if it's on a blanket and under 10,000, correct? Is that what you're referring to?
Yes.
Okay, just want to make sure we're speaking the same language.
We did not know this when I had added it to the special meeting, and Silas hadn't started work yet. So I was concerned about the cost and to bring everybody up to speed what was happening at the pool. It sounds like it's going much better than what what was anticipated originally. So I'm glad to see Silas jump in and get this figured out for us.
I'll add to it. It worked out well that we were able to attack it on Friday. I think had we waited till today or even tomorrow to address the issue, that we would have probably been looking at pushing back our opening date for the season.
Mike Kelly did a great job also keeping me in the loop and pictures and keeping me informed. I appreciated that.
All right. Nothing further on today's agenda. Make a motion to approve resolution 21-160, meeting adjournment.
Second?
Mr. Grumbles,
Yes.
Ms. Tranto,
Yes.
Mr. Rivers.
Yes.